Welcome to Coach's Corner. I'm your host, Sean Anderson. This is the Zoom edition of Coach's Corner. And on this edition of Coach's Corner, on this first segment, we're going to be talking to the head coach of your Pohai softball team, Coach Daniel Wood. And coming up a little bit later in the second segment, we'll be talking to the head Pohai football coach, Scott Harmon, right here on Coach's Corner. We appreciate you watching. And Coach Wood, how does a coach when he's in quarantine? That's what I want to know, because you did go through that. How in the world did you handle it?
I felt like I was climbing the walls the majority of the time. But in all honesty, it was just putting absolute faith in my coaching staff, in Mark Kimbrell and Cody Campbell, knowing that they were going to go out and coach the girls to the best of their ability, and you know they're not going to do anything that I wouldn't do. So please trust in them. And knowing that we've prepared the girls in a way that once it gets to the games anyways, it's their show. As soon as they step between the lines, in all honesty, we're more managing a game anyways and letting them go play it out. So
yeah. Well, September rolled around, and all of a sudden your team really started getting together, really gelling, perhaps playing better. You were seeing that out there. They went 2-2 in the Bethany tournament. That wasn't bad. 2 district wins over Sapulpa. Senior night with Enid didn't exactly go the way everyone wanted it to, but still, you're noticing incredible improvement among your players. Talk about that for just a moment, if you will.
Yeah, we've really done a good job of we're swinging the bats a lot better now. It's and just staying competitive. There's been several games, even a couple of the games we lost. Even against the Wasso, tough district loss against the Wasso last Monday. We're in the ball game, and it is really close and it's tight up until about the 5th inning. And it's one of those things. Couple mistakes here and there, and it momentum shifts. But up until that point, we're in the ball game, and that's a team where we play them earlier in the year, and it's not even close. So we're making strides and we're getting better. And I think a lot of that starts offensively. We're starting to see the ball a little bit better, kind of just putting a little bit more trust in the approach that we've been trying to take. So we're doing pretty good with that. It's just coming together and honestly starting to trust each other as a team, knowing that even if we don't get the job done, there's going to be somebody behind us that's going to pick up the slack for us.
Fantastic. Well, this Zoom edition of Coach's Corner, we're recording this on Tuesday, and tonight, Tulsa Edison coming to town. Of course, as you're watching this Coach's Corner edition, that game has already happened. So Tulsa Edison, what do you see for tonight's game with Tulsa Edison?
It's a chance for us to go out and kind of build some momentum going into the Chickasha Tournament this weekend. In all honesty, Edison's a team that we probably come out, we take care of business. We should handle them, but it's always playing those teams. You don't ever want to play down to their level. So it's a lot of just going out and doing what we're supposed to and not necessarily worrying about what they're doing on their side. Just go out and play the game hard, play it fast the way we're supposed to, and we should take care of business.
Coach Daniel Wood, the head coach of the Pohai softball team, our guest for this segment of Coach's Corner Zoom edition. And Coach, the Chickasha Tournament, you mentioned that this weekend. In these unprecedented times with COVID-19, of course, the schedule is always changing. Will you know the matchups until you get there? I mean, they've changed it how many times? 3 or 4?
We're on the 3rd revised schedule right now, and she actually said that they're probably going to change it at least one more time. So as of right now, we're playing UConn. UConn, Carl Albert, Lawton Mack, and Lawton Ike. But like I said, we've been scheduled to play Cass. So it's, you don't really know. Times have fluctuated a little bit. So I do know we're going to play Friday and we're going to play Saturday. So we're just going to bank on that and go get some work in.
Yeah. Now there will be some home games coming up after the Chickasha Tournament next Tuesday. Putnam City doubleheader. Before we talk about that, I want to talk about some of your players. If I could ask you to, uh, who are the team leaders, and do you see some players that perhaps weren't necessarily team leaders earlier in the season, and they're starting to emerge and starting to show some of those leadership skills? Give us some shout outs to players, perhaps not necessarily even team leaders, but players that you're seeing dramatic improvement. They're working on their game. They're having incredible work and practice. Who are those players?
I'm going to start off talking about our freshmen. We've been pretty consistent in starting 3 freshmen this year: Madeline Blackstar, Taylon Fry, Alex Zimmersheed, and anytime you're starting freshmen, it can be kind of taxing on a coach's heart sometimes, because sometimes they look really good and sometimes they're making freshman mistakes, and whenever you're doing that, you're making mistakes, but you're learning from them, and they're starting to kind of hit a stride, all 3 of them. They've stepped up and done a really good job, and in times in some really big spots. We win a ball game last night against Bartlesville in extra innings with Taylon Fry, scoring the winning run on a ground ball to second base, because she's getting down the line hard. So they've done a really good job. We've had a couple people that struggled early on in the year, who's really kind of coming out of that now. Haley Swinford's done a really good job for us as a designated player, mostly hitting for us, and she started out the year struggling a little bit, but she's kind of started finding a little bit of a groove, and she's been hitting with a lot more confidence, and that really helps us, especially in the bottom of our lineup, turn it over and get us back to the top, and giving people on base for those girls at the top of the lineup to drive her in. Savannah Clark has done a really good job at the plate as well, kind of turning her season around. She's found a little bit of a groove, and she's swinging the bat really well right now as well.
Fantastic. Well, your opportunity to get out and support the Lady Cat softball players coming up on Tuesday next week, and that's going to be a doubleheader too. Putnam City, first game starts at 5, so we encourage you to get out there. The softball field right behind West Middle School. And Putnam City, can you size them up for us? This doubleheader, what are you expecting?
They're going to be a tough team. I think it's a situation for us to go out. If we're making routine plays, we're going to be in a chance to win both of those ball games. They're sitting right about 500 right now, towards the middle of their district. So I think we match up really well with them. So it's one of those situations where who's going to come out and play the cleanest softball game that they can. I think that's going to be the team that's probably going to take home 2 wins on Tuesday.
Yeah. Now, with this cooler weather, how does that impact your players, or does it? Do you see a difference in play when it's 98 degrees as opposed to 70?
They don't they don't gripe about it as much, so I know that.
Less griping. That's good.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and they keep that to a minimum amongst themselves, to be honest with you, because they I always tell them, like, hey, it's hot. We know it's hot. They know it's hot. We don't
Right.
hear about it. But when that sun gets baking off that turf and it's coming up at you, it gets pretty toasty. So, in all honesty, when it starts to drop into the 70s and low 80s, everybody kind of just a nice collective, so it's really nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach Daniel Wood, head coach of the Pohai softball team. And Coach Wood, thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Sean.
We encourage you to get out there and support the Lady Cat softball team. And that is going to do it for this segment of Coach's Corner. On our next segment, you'll find another video with that segment. We're going to have Coach Scott Harmon of the Pohai football team. This is Coach's Corner. I'm your host, Sean Anderson, for Ponca City Public Schools. Thanks for watching.